Hey guys, welcome to Order 66 Gaming. Uh, this is basically just a quick video to show you guys how I myself play British. Um, I know our other clan members, Lars and Mark, have both done different versions of how to play the Americans. So like Lars favours the infantry, Mark's really good with airborne. But I like to support both on clan games and stuff with the British. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this pretty much. And basically, it's not how every other Brit plays, but it's how I find I win most games. So I always start off, first unit I build is a Bren carrier, especially in high resource games, because this can just literally be the key. You can push the Germans so early on this map in particular. That bridge there at the bottom now where the screen's on is obviously key. So unfortunately on this one they got me with a flamethrower, but I managed to and they had to chase them around a little bit as well, which was quite annoying. But yeah, so after the Bren carrier's out, I like to get myself another 2 squads of infantry and a lieutenant, because obviously the lieutenant's key. It adds a lot of firepower to your squads and mobility as well when they're in enemy territory. So yeah, and obviously this video is speeded up as well, so just didn't want you to be bored watching it. So most British players like to move the base early on in the game, which I absolutely hate doing, because if anything were to go wrong, you're pretty much out of the game early on. So I like to play basically a lot more mobile and a lot more attacky with the Brits. So obviously, if you watch Lars's video of how he plays with his infantry, you'll see this game from his perspective. So you can watch both to get a little bit of a better understanding of what's going on. So yeah, it looks like we're just checking out his units here and stuff. He's contested right around to this corner of the map, which is really, really key. So my Bren carrier's on the move and I'm still capturing points. I've got the bridge at the bottom secured, and I'm looking to bring in my field support unit now as well. Obviously placing bunkers in key locations is a good idea as well. Thing is with the Brits, like on maps where the enemy can and has to come to you, digging in can be a good thing to do. However, German artillery is literally out of this world most times. So if you do dig in and have a defensive line, you just got to be mindful that it only takes a few Nebel worth of batteries, and that defensive line can literally be on fire. So we've pioneered this kind of like little play between us, and we don't lose many games now because of this. So I'll be looking with these squads. I don't build any more squads from this point on of infantry, so I try to keep these 3 squads alive as long as I can for most games. These squads literally become my capturing point squads. For upgrading them, I always like to go with the Bren gun, because the Bren gun gives that little bit more suppression. And I'm not really going to talk about the tech tree I play here, but today I've gone with commandos, just because on this map, commandos dropping in behind can be, again, a really useful tool, especially for things like snipers and coming in behind machine gun posts and stuff like that. They're also the best infantry the Brits can get, with a 7 stat against the Germans. Also, the great thing about the commando tech tree is that it has the fake smoke ability and the artillery barrage. So the fake smoke is just so useful. If you can see like an Axis player about to capture some of your points, or they have a massive blob of their infantry running towards you, just you drop in the 3 smoke locations literally makes most allied players run. Axis players run, because if you're playing and you see smoke drop on your units and you know it's the only units you've got, you're going to run regardless if it's smoke or not. So it can be such a key thing to do. So especially with them where they're capturing points, you can frustrate them a lot by just dropping in fake smoke. So as you see, I'm trying to get this sniper here. My snipe misses him, which is very annoying, but I did get him in the end, luckily. So as I'm building now, I'm looking to get my field supports units in. I'm getting a captain out, and I'm looking to start getting the Brit sappers out as well. Very good units with the Piats. So I'll generally, at this point in the game, if I've got the resources, I'll try and support 2 of those squads. Excuse me. And the captain as well, because without the captain you can't go to your tech free building, your vehicle support unit. So I'm trying to get that squad back there. I think I did. Yeah, luckily they got. I hate losing a squad of infantry. It puts me back quite a bit in the game. So as you can see as well, my Bren carrier here, I think if you saw the stats there, if you go back a little bit, you see it killed a lot of people. So it's a very good investment at the beginning, and it's also a great sort of tool to push them with at the beginning, because all they will really have to defend against you is engineers, and it will mean them committing early resources to you which they don't like to do. So yes, I'm winning this little battle here. I say Lars has got his sniper in support of me there, which is absolutely crucial. I should have been running my men really, but I knew Lars' sniper and my brain carrier were going to be able to kill those machine guns. So I just took the hit really. So yeah, you can see my field support unit there. Look, I'm bringing in my tier 3 truck, and as soon as I got the resources for it, and that'll allow me to build a key part of this sort of strategy really with the Brits, the Kangaroo carrier. It's literally it used to be a very overpowered vehicle. It used to only cost 300 manpower and 10 fuel. However, recently that has been nerfed. The armor's decreased on them a lot, and they now cost 45 fuel, which is the same as like a Staghound, which I also use for this strategy. Staghound armor cars with a 50 caliber upgrade on top, basically the top machine gun. Literally is one of the best anti-infantry killers in the game, especially if you've got a few of them. So I tend to build myself possibly 2 to 3 Kangaroos, which I fill with Piat troops. I will put a captain and a lieutenant in separate vehicles, and I will put generally an infantry squad with a Bren carrier. So I'm just using the fake smoke ability here, basically just to show you. So it just drops the smoke exactly what it would do for a normal artillery strike. And if that was on enemy, they'd be shitting their pants at that point and running away. So it's really, really useful to have. Yeah, so with the Kangaroos, basically the way I play this game, instead of moving your base to sort of dig yourself in, which 9 times out of 10 I've found just gets you killed badly, because you will just have artillery strike after artillery strike landed upon you, and yeah, that hurts, and your buildings won't stand up long against that. And as soon as you've lost your men, and if you're retreating your men to those bases and they're just getting artillery and stuff, it just becomes a nightmare. So I always leave my first vehicle where it is, and it just produces units. During the game, if I feel like I can move my second or my third vehicle in to secure a unit, I definitely will, and I'm going to do it here. I've dropped it onto the fuel point there and just research this secured resourcing as well. So that's a big boost for your sort of like economy in the game really. I think these guys get home, although they're being chased horribly there. Look, luckily just got away. Yeah, so I've just used that fake smoke again there. Fortunately it missed that time. But yeah, so it's a big boost to your economy. And there's my brain carrier. Look, still going. It's killed absolutely tons of units. Massively good investment for me so early on in the game. Sometimes it doesn't always go that way. You can lose your brain carrier pretty early on. Yep, so my vehicle truck's down now. I'll start producing 1 to 2 Kangaroos in a minute. Now the Germans will absolutely hate you for doing this, but I don't see it as any different for them spamming Panthers, Tigers, Flak Panzers. You know, they get the absolute best tanks in the game are all the Germans. Basically, to stand toe to toe with the Germans, we've got to do everything we can as the Brits. And a couple of Kangaroo carriers doesn't hurt, in my opinion. They're so easy to counter against if they're a skillful player, but this is how you sort of determine whether guys are truly skillful. If they can't beat your Kangaroos, then they're just German noobs, basically, who are just playing the Germans because they're easy to win with by spamming tanks. So yeah, especially on this map, keep an eye on that bottom bridge there. And I've used the fake smoke ability there because that gives you an extra bit of line of sight, so you can also use it to sort of like sneak into enemies' bases if you like. You can just have a little look. So I'm just checking out Lars' sniper there. It's just sniping some guys out of a building in camouflage. And at my base, like, see, this is one of the only down sort of sides with this sort of strategy. You haven't got many men out on the move all the time. Now I try to generally keep at least 2 squads capturing points, and if I haven't got 2 squads of infantry, I'll have squads of commandos landing. So, and that just basically gives like Lars and Mark the support they need, but capturing points, because they'll be running sort of like heavily infantry based tactics, and they haven't always got the squads to sort of commit to chasing points. So I'll make that one of my roles, and I'll also make just supporting them as best I can. So yeah, so I'm just getting basically all these squads ready to drop into some Kangaroos. And then it'd be around this time as well. Now, if we'd seen the enemy going super all out for infantry, which really sort of basically if they go out with sort of like MP40s, veteran squads, and because they can just click a button to upgrade their infantry to veteran as well. If that happens, Lars's infantry and Mark's airborne will really struggle because they just don't have the sort of ability to stand toe to toe. So this is the point I'd be looking to get staghounds on the field. So every time sort of Lars or Mark's infantry attack, I can use these staghounds to sort of basically provide a bit of suppressing fire, and I can also use my commandos as well to sweep in because they are pretty good. See, Lars's bane here, look, is the flat panzer, which I've just gone away from. My brain carrier is still going, which is absolutely phenomenal. I think eventually it does die in a minute, although I do give it the self-repair, which I probably wish I hadn't done. And I think I do give it the ammo burst as well. I can't remember what I do here. But again, I've used the fake smoke there, look, on that sniper. I don't think I checked where it made him run. It's just to put the shitters up and basically. So that's my first kangaroo on the field. Now, playing the Brits with like the Cromwell tanks is quite a good way of going as well, but you're sort of very heavily dependent on the command tanks. I think that was my brain carrier getting blown up there, which is quite a sad day. But the strong sort of point about this is you can use your kangaroos for an early attack, drop in, sort of push right into their territory. They don't usually expect it to come, and then you can start building staghounds and Sherman Fireflies to finish the job, and then drop to your infantry. So instead of spamming them, it's more of a, I don't really, more like a, just like a lightning attack, which as the Brits like, they're basically they're looked on as being sort of a sitting down, non-mobile, dig-in kind of army, which is I keep saying basically, sorry guys, that's basically how I see them played all the time. But we don't do that. We've pioneered this over. We lost about 1 million games learning COH to start with in the early days when we thought we should be playing it like the movers, like Saving Private Ryan and stuff. But we'd end up sending mortar squads against Panthers and Tiger tanks, and it just wasn't happening for us. Squads of infantry throwing sticky bombs onto tracks, trying to blow things up, but it never really was happening for us. So we just started learning what our units could do and such, and we pioneered our own methods really, and we've worked together on COH now for probably about 5 years, so we seamlessly play together. But this is the strongest thing. Oh, so I'm using the real smoke this time, and I think I do get that sniper. A very silly thing to do that, capture a point with a sniper. As you can see, the guys with the Piats are firing out of the tanks, so it gives them the protection as well, because without the kangaroos, the guys with Piats are just, they're not awful, but they just struggle to take vehicles down. But the kangaroos are basically like a mobile bunker. Fortunately, I just got a firestorm drop on me there. I don't think it killed any of my units, but it just damaged them enough that I now need to address them. So I don't like throwing vehicles away if I don't have to. I like to take them back. They've also got engineers inside, so I can find like a safe place to pull over and call the AA out to start fixing up. I think one of them's got a damaged vehicle there, so just picking myself up that HMG, which I'm going to utilise and pop it in that building there just to keep it secure. And then with those guys, I'm just going to fight myself against those sappers. Got my kangaroos repairing. That's a fake smoke I've used there. Literally for Brit players that should become second nature. If you see any sort of infantry or something sat down like that and you've got a fake smoke, just drop it instantly, because it would just annoy the hell out of the Germans. They won't know whether it's real or not, and if they get cocky to themselves and think, oh yeah, that's real, that's not real, it'll probably be the time it is real smoke, and you'll just decimate their units. So I ended up using real on that because I wanted rid of that HMG point, and I've kept a squad there as well. Probably don't know why I did that, because I knew they wouldn't be in a position to push, but it's just covering every base. With the Germans, if you take your foot off the gas for 2 seconds, they can literally just steamroll you. Because if they were working on Panthers, they could have had 2 Panthers in my base, and by the time I could have got back, it just wouldn't have never happened. So this is where our strategy starts coming to our own. Lars has got his infantry now. They're starting to get veteran. They're starting to get their Thompson machine guns, and they're becoming pretty nasty to deal with. So we've both noticed there's got a flak 88 together, and Lars has just took a nasty hit there. So again, look, I've just used the fake smoke so I can see the 88. I'll now use my real smoke on it, and at the moment in the game chat we're talking about basically getting his units onto the 88 if we can kill the Germans, which is just a great thing to do. Basically means we've took their weapon from them and we're using it against them. So Lars's men are having to run there, and I'm having to engage this tank and this Pak 38, which does tend to make a mess of my units. And they've managed to actually get men back on that 88 now. So I'm just letting my kangaroos deal with the issues here. Now the German player played pretty awful there. Like, he had a Pak 38 which can do lethal damage to kangaroos, and he had a German Panzer there as well. And unfortunately for him, he just got caught in 2 mines and started moving them both. They should have been set up. The Pak should have been well away from the ramp there, so I couldn't get behind it. It needs to be, if you're going to beat kangaroos, you need to set up Paks sort of out on the edges, where, like, if the kangaroos go through one field of fire, they'll instantly go into another, and that would just absolutely decimate them. So now I'm telling Lars to get those engineers onto this gun, because it's basically become the beginning of the end now. The firestorm's coming down, I've noticed. Getting my men straight out of there. And as you can see, I'm dropping fake smoke again and stuff. And it's at this point, really, we start to notice, like, we've gotten them on the back foot. We're happy that we're winning this game. So yeah, you can see why. Obviously, you can see why I've not built Staghounds now, because they haven't really got much of an infantry threat apart from those Knights Crossholders. They're very difficult to deal with, and they killed Lars's engineers straight off it. So it's just time now to get rid of that 88. If you can grab it and use it and sort of protect it, they become vital to your attack. But if you can't, just make sure the enemy can't get it again, because again, that would have done, with 2 or 3 hits, that would have killed all my tanks. So it's not easy playing kangaroos, and I have gone for some Staghounds now, just because I've noticed those Knights Crosses. So you've got to react to that. If you see one unit of Knights Cross, chances are they're building more. And like, although it's no sort of slight on Lars, his units do struggle against Knights Crossholders because they are very, very powerful units. The only real unit that can go head toe to toe with it is the Brit Commandos, but without a lieutenant, they struggle themselves. So, I mean, Knights Crossholders are the kind of guys that stand on a point and you can drop an artillery strike on the head and they just like head it away like it's a football and just be like, yeah, whatever. So I've got myself in a bit of trouble here. I've lost a couple of kangaroos, so I'm having to retreat, but we have taken 1 base and it's looking like game over now because we're rapidly pushing points. So I'm moving up all my infantry into buildings basically where I think they've got better covers of fire. So I've slacked off a bit there and left that kangaroo's rear armour open. Try not to do that. Get into the habit of, whenever you sort of leave your screen, put your unit into the best defensible position, especially with your infantry and stuff like that. You'll notice when you hover your mouse around the screen, you'll get sort of like yellow shields, green shields, or red shields. If you're engaging the enemy, always try to have your shield green, because that means you're in heavy cover, and you'll win a lot of the times if you do that. So I'll make the decision now to go for that building there with those units, with the HMG team that I stole from Lars. I think it turns out to be a bad decision, but yeah, you can just see me upgrading that Staghound there as well with the 50 cal, because I've noticed he is getting a bit more infantry out now. So I just want to like react to that. His tank force isn't really scaring me, and I've just used fake smoke again on their base, although they probably won't do anything about that. You probably won't even notice it if I'm honest. And because I didn't let my kangaroos get blown up with my men inside it too often, I managed to get most of my engineers back from that. So I can now, if I needed to, if the Germans were to put a lot of tanks out, I can build more kangaroos, which I probably will do just to secure this victory. But if they weren't to, if they were to go full infantry now, I'd be looking at going Staghounds and Fireflies, and with dropping a lot more commandos in. This is the part of the game. I think you've noticed at the left somebody's just dropped that. This is the part of the game now where you're almost mopping up. If people do drop in games, don't ever become complacent as well, because this is the kind of time where the AI takes over, and I believe it's a medium AI that takes over, although it could possibly be hard. And one of the main priorities they'll do is focus on capturing points. So while you think you're doing really well, the AI will just be sending every unit it has to try and grab points back from you, so which can become a little bit overwhelming sometimes. There's been plenty of times where we've had sort of the Germans on the ropes in big like 4v4 games, and somebody would have left, and all of a sudden that person becomes the unit that just starts capturing points, and it becomes extremely difficult to fight against that and three German players that could be churning out sort of King Tigers, Jag Panthers. It becomes very, very difficult. So just don't sort of think, oh yeah, we've won this game, they're leaving. You've got to keep pushing always, else you will lose. I'm gutted to have seen that squad die there. I should have got it back. And I've just dropped Fake Smoke again on these tanks. It's just going to disrupt them more than anything. Look, he thinks that's real arty, so he's moving it, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. Just keep them disrupted, because whatever they're moving, they're not firing. Although they do they do fire and move, but if they're just not settled basically. Yep, so I've just got a couple more kangaroos ready. Built a safety one as well, and I think this is pretty much my final assault. Unfortunately, the Staghound's got pretty badly messed up. I'd made the wrong choice with them really. I shouldn't have pushed them so far in, and I should have actually got them back straight away. But I think this is my last attack of kangaroos to leave now. Lars is just gearing up all his men at base. I mean, that's the only frustration of playing infantry for sort of like the Americans. They have to keep running back to their base to re-heal their units, unless you're airborne, of course, where you could just rearm in the field. So I think I just dropped Fake Smoke in there just to cover Lars' advantage. I want that Flak Panther moving away from him, because hopefully he'll turn his rear armour then, which gives Lars his best chance of killing him. And my HMG team are just making a mockery of the Germans, and I love seeing that. But yeah, this is the kind of point now where the Germans are hating on you. In most games, you usually get people going, "Oh, kangaroo spam!" Whoa. But in reality, all we've actually used is 5 kangaroos. When if they would have had the chance, they'd have had 5 tanks on you instantly. But luckily, the way we've played has allowed us to stop any of that. Because we've all played games, and I'm sure you guys, if you're watching this, you've come to this video for a reason. You've played games where you're in sort of like the first 10 minutes of the game, happily going along, and then you look at the map and you see a Stug closed in on your base, and you just think to yourself, wow, I've pretty much got an engineer, and that's it. Oh, that was a sniper, got absolutely wasted there. That is the power of Rangers as well. There, they do mess up vehicles if you can get them close. Managed to get 1 Staghound back as well there. I didn't even notice that. So I'm just dropping some engineers. I'll probably end up repairing that, just to keep it in the game really. So you should just never take your foot off the gas. We're still pushing right until the last minute. So my kangaroos are coming through now. I'm dropping Fake Smoke on that tank, look, so I don't want it to get settled. So he's seeing it come down. If you see on the minimap, it is moving around. Just wants to get himself out of those smoke zones. And now it's time to start. If I got enough resources, I'd be looking at building Sherman Fireflies. The Firefly is a great tank. If you upgrade it with the line of sight, and if you do have Cromwell command tanks on instead of Staghounds, partner sort of 2 to 3 Fireflies with a command tank, and have spotters out in front of it, and they will genuinely rinse through any armour the Germans have got. But they are very, very weak themselves, so they have to be kept back. They're perfect really for games like Red Bull, where they can just sit literally out of the battle a little bit, but pound away at the big German guns. But as soon as they start coming, you've got to micromanage perfectly and just get them away. And don't, I mean, well, probably the best tip I'll give you when you're controlling tanks, when you select your tank, don't just click at the destination you want to go and press click there, because the tank will automatically turn itself around and show the rear armour to the enemy. So say if you click a tank and you've got a tank in front of it firing at it, and you just click behind it a long way, the tank will start to turn around to make the trip. You've got to keep clicking the right mouse button, the move button, just literally just behind the tank. Keep it moving back so it keeps reversing and reversing and reversing. So as soon as you click a long way, the tank starts to turn around. So it's all about micromanaging that tank. So that tank will have a lot more armour at the front, albeit not much when the Germans start shooting at you. You're not going to have much chances, but if you turn around, it will be gone in seconds, absolutely gone in seconds, which is horrible to see, especially when you've spent like 450 manpower on it and a lot of fuel. So I think, pretty sure on this game I actually repaired the bottom bridge and ended up going over there. But it's pretty safe to say they are on the last legs now, but you just can't take your foot off the gas, so we keep pushing to the very, very end. So yeah, so I've bought those 3 kangaroos out. I know these tanks are there, so I've got my men repairing the bridge. The fortunate thing is there's only one person playing for them now, so they'll be watching what Lars is doing. He's causing a right ruckus there. I've decided to bomb that building now because it's just a sensible thing to do. Bridge is almost repaired. I've got 3 kangaroos waiting, a staghound as well, and a firefly now. So I've got my line of sight upgrade, and I'm going to get that there. I've micromanaged it as well, so it's just sat looking. So I don't want any tanks coming onto Lars's base. And now that's ready, I'm going to move my kangaroos in. And that's it. I click there, they're going. So I'm just keeping an eye now across their bases. It's always a nervy moment when your vehicles are going over bridges, because if they blow up, everything dies. And now I've just put my 2 sapper teams basically there to cap points, which is it's the name of the game. If you keep capturing points, you're going to win because you will out-resource the enemy. And I've luckily managed to capture that vehicle there with its rear armour, which is nice to see. However, that what's it called? Kangaroo is in trouble now, surrounded by 3 tanks. I've noticed at this point the other kangaroos have for some reason gone round the top, but I'm happy with that. Just try and keep an eye on your units because that can catch you out. A little bit of fake smoke there. Just trying to tidy up now, capture a few more units. We've luckily now got both routes open to their base, so it's only a matter of time. They're on the retreat. Also, a good little tactic we like to use as a clan, if you are playing against somebody who uses sort of a heavy infantry approach, which can really mess a lot of infantry units up, if you can get their blob of infantry retreating to their base, get your airborne player to recon their base, and as soon as their infantrymen are running back to the base and they're in close range, just drop all your arty in front of the base and they'll retreat into it, and it will just cause decimation. And it's usually, if the Germans see something like that, they usually just quit because it's awful to see. I mean, what would you be like if you just retreated all your men, thought, thank God I've kept all my squads alive, and then when they get to base they're just getting absolutely bombarded? It'd mess you up. So that's one of the best things we can tell you to do. The name of the game as well is teamwork. Find yourself players you enjoy playing with and you'll have a great time. So yeah, so we're pouring into his base now. Lars has got his Shermans out. I got my Firefly. I was hoping it would have moved down by now, but they're both engaging this base here. I've brought some commandos down as well, although they're not needed. It's always nice to have an extra unit there just in case. Commandos are great because they can drop demolitions on bases and stuff and then run away, and then sort of like you detonate that demolition like an old style TNT. So you can drop them into enemy bases, pop their smoke grenades, which means nobody can see them, and then just run around, demolition something,